Hello, welcome back to Diary of a Creator. I am Victoria, the soul-led career coach, and this is a space for ambitious, freedom-seeking souls like myself who refuse to settle for the ordinary. So if you're feeling stuck in a life or career that no longer fits, you're starting to question your path and you're craving more freedom, more alignment, more joy, then you are in the right place. And if my content resonates with you, I would love it if you could like, share, and subscribe. It just helps me to reach more souls who need this message. So today's topic is a bit of a fun one, but still one to be taken incredibly seriously, because if you don't do this, you're not going to get very far. And it's really, what does play actually have to do with finding an aligned career? And the truth that I've come to learn, even through all of my force of to-do lists and trying to work it out in my head, is it has everything to do with it. Why? Because you cannot think your way into clarity, particularly when it comes to soul-led and heart-led living. You have to feel your way into it. And this is why play is really, call it a secret weapon in actually truly landing into a career and a life that's going to align with you. And the way that it does this is not necessarily through moving into the play like, oh, that's kind of what I want to do. It's totally and completely about stimulating your energy into a space that you are able to get clarity, receive guidance, and have those aha moments. Because at the end of the day, fundamentally, when we're thinking of soul-led, we're really talking about creation in its purest form. It's what we're here to create as a soul. You might think that you're not a creative person, however, we all are. And this is the part of us that we have to stimulate. It's the ideas. It could be anything that wants to come out, but we have to stimulate that energy in order for it to start to kind of, I guess, bubble out past all of the logic and the structures and how we've learned to operate. And we really need to get into this space. And play itself stimulates creativity. It puts us into a state of pure presence. And even if you just go much like a child would play, right? They're in a very complete state of innocence. And by that, it means they're in a state of in no sense, as in they're not actively looking to scan or understand their environment. They're not being pulled away from conceptions. They're just kind of purely looking at it in what it is. And when we go into this type of state where we're just in it, in total presence, all of our senses are alive. Everything, particularly in a state of innocence as a child, everything they're seeing is like they're seeing it for the first time, without judgment, without preconceived ideas. They're just looking at it. They're in it. They're experiencing it. They're in the joy. If you think of a dog when they go to the park, it's like they've never been to the park before. They are in this state. It is just pure presence. It is, the mind is gone. And why play works to do that is because it is a way to divert out of the mind, particularly for adults. If you ever meditate and you sit and you're trying to still, you're going to hear your mind. Play is a lot easier to be in the moment because you're in something. When we think of play as something that you absolutely get joy and flow from. And in this state, we're eyes wide open. This is where our senses come alive, and it's also where our intuition comes alive, because we can be truly present with ourselves, with what's around us, our soul, and most importantly, our own creative genius. Now, this state of energy is so critical to be in order to get clarity and be guiding your life from your heart and your soul. This is the space, and we need to incorporate it in a relatively deliberate way, because as an example for me, this has been screaming at me for a long time. This is just as important as your to-do list and all of, the logic and everything. And particularly when it comes to forming any form of vision, it shouldn't come from your logic. That comes in the how. That is like a later step. When you're truly wanting to understand who you are, what you're here for, and guide it through that, this energy is critical to stimulate. Because what we want to ultimately get to when it comes to stepping into an aligned career is we're actually trying to identify what our unique creative genius is. What are we here to create? What are we here to share, serve. What is our unique voice? What is our unique expression? All of these things is what we're wanting to understand. And we all have a unique creative genius. It just gets smacked out of us. And I want to talk to this study because this is why I went back into the innocence of children. And if you have children, use them and observe them and how they actually go into play. And you'll watch that there's absolutely nothing else that they are doing other than being there. And we have things that we can do as adults too. And it's almost like we've been taught to avoid the childlike elements, but we actually need to bring them back because this is where the creativity is. And so NASA did a study where they wanted to identify genius, creative level genius in the population. So they actually found that less than 2% of adults are what they would consider creative genius levels. So these are, your innovators, the bigger picture thinkers, solving problems with creative solutions, all of these things. But what they actually found is that they studied and they went back into children to understand where their creative genius levels were. Now, for children under 5 years old, based on the same NASA study, 98% of those 5-year-olds were classified as creative genius level. 98%. When they went to test again at a different age, once it gets to 10 years old, that level drops to 30%. You do it again at 15 years old, it drops to 13%. To adults, it goes to less than 2%. So we are born as creative geniuses, but we are conditioned out of it. Why? Well, because honestly, they want to create a workforce. They want us to move into where they want us to go. And the logic and the structures and all of the ways that we learn essentially, in essence, pull us out of our own uniqueness. They pull us out of our own creativity because a creative mind is a dangerous mind to a society that is founded on control. In essence, we're conditioned out of our own intuition. We're conditioned out of our own inner response. And we just get so conditioned to repress all of this. And we cut off. We kind of cut off in favor of the mind. And the mind is a very useful, amazing tool, but it should never be what guides your vision for what you want to do, what you're here to do. It should only ever be playing a support role. But that is simply just not how we've been using it. It literally guides life. And then it cuts off our creative genius, and we wonder why we're unhappy with our paths and our fulfillment because we're actually just genuinely fitting boxes that we've been conditioned to fit, which is why it feels so bleh. And this is an interesting one as well, because they did a study on entrepreneurs, which arguably you can say that, I mean, I'm not going to say that all entrepreneurs are soul-led because that's just not the case, but they are rule breakers. They are box pushers. They push the envelope. They try. They push into their fear. They want the growth. And a lot of these are very admirable parts, but the majority of them were actually school dropouts or C grade students because they didn't actually fit the mold. They worked it out quite early. I didn't work it out. I was still trying to fit in at school. I was still running through my programming of got to be smart, academic, go into uni, continue to follow that until my kind of niggling was 25, 26 when it first started. But entrepreneurs, they knew they didn't fit in. They knew they didn't want to follow the rules. So they keep almost their creativity and genius intact. And that's how they move. And it's not to say that there aren't incredibly intelligent people who were A and B students and moving through, but I'm talking about creative genius here, which is your unique creative genius. That's where your soul-led career is. It's bringing those aspects out. That will be your key source of fulfillment, is literally expressing your creativity. We are ingrained to create. And I think we have this very boxed in idea of creation. Creation is anything that is created. Like it's not just art and all of these types of things. It's solutions to problems. But if you want to have a career that follows your soul, a career that is driven by the heart, then it's not going to be in a path that is laid out by design. It's not going to be through the conditioned, safe path that is sold to us. So, guess what? You have to reconnect with your own inner genius in order to truly, truly understand what that is. And the quickest way to do that is through moments of innocence, play, flow, joy, all of these things. Why? Because they stimulate your connection to your soul, and your connection to your soul, the language is intuition. When you go into these moments and you step into the energy of them more frequently, your channel starts to open up, your intuition starts to open up, and your gateway to yourself also starts to open up. Because everyone's soul is here to create something. And it's really, truly sad if people don't step into that, because one, you're doing yourself a disservice by not creating what your soul is truly, truly craving. And you might even have an inkling of what that is already. And it's just the fear that's blocking that. But that's great. You've got the inkling. Some people don't at all. They're just very numbed to who they are. So you're doing yourself a disservice, but you're also doing the world a disservice, because if we all came here with our unique blueprint and we all played our unique blueprint, everyone would benefit from it. We're all unique puzzle pieces. We're not trying to play the same piece of the puzzle. And so to create, we have to stimulate that innocence and that play. And there's many ways to do that. What is play for you? My biggest one, and actually where the inspiration for this video came from, is travel for me. And I mean travel in the sense of going completely off the beaten path, as in not going, like I live in Bali, and I don't mean going to the Western playground that they create for tourists. I mean, and this actually came when I went to a remote village in a town quite far away. I was the only tourist there in a homestay, because everything that I am seeing, I have never seen before. It is new to me. I am the fish out of water. I'm the one that looks different. No one can speak the same language as me. The food is different. The environment is different. This stimulates me. This, even if it's bad, honestly, because yeah, like you get things in Bali that are not particularly pleasant to watch. Even on that trip, I saw another pig getting slaughtered, which was, I'm vegetarian and it's just not very fun. However, it puts me into a massive state of presence. It's somewhere where I am foreign and I have never seen it before. That is a state of innocence, because I can genuinely walk down a street and I will look at everything, like everything. I have a thing where I like to look into people's houses when I travel. I love understanding how other people live. It actually brings my curiosity up, which is why I love travel, which is why I love off the beaten path travel, because it stimulates innocence in the quickest way. It's stimulating you into that childlike curiosity that we are missing. We've just missed for so long. And that's the saddest part, is this ability or this energy is slowly, slowly disappearing. Like even when you meet people traveling, and you could be, this moment sticks out to me always. We were watching a sunset in Tikal. It's this massive ancient Mayan ruin, like absolutely magical. And there's this dude sitting behind me talking to these two people about where he's going next and what he's doing. I was like, shut the fuck up. Just watch what is in front of you. That's the problem, is when we lose these moments, because these moments, without these moments, there's no connection. And you also hear a lot of adults talking about time speeding up, and like I can feel this too, though probably not to the same degree, because I think people think time is speeding up. It's not. It's the fact that you are just not going into enough of these moments. This is why time speeds up, because you're doing the same shit every day and you're actually not paying attention. If you even just think about whatever walk you do every day or whatever, what do you look at? You probably don't look at anything because you've walked it so many times. What about the first time you walked it? You were probably looking, like me, at the houses, down, like everywhere. You are stimulated, you're looking at everything, and then you just stop because it gets routine. And then you've done your walk, and by the time you've got to the end, you're like, oh, did I even do that? time's not disappearing, it's our focus. When we go into this routine and this stuckness around patterns and we just live up here, we miss these moments that do actually slow time down because we're in them. Presence is really what keeps us alive and living and fulfilled. And these moments are also the state where you're going to get clarity. You cannot think yourself into an aligned career in clarity. And trust me, I tried. I spent years going around and around in circles, analyzing, oh, well, this, and I kind of like this, and what's my strengths and what's my weakness, and like trying to shift and mold based on what I knew and sitting and like researching everything outside to try and understand which path I want and how to get clarity. Park all that. That's not where you get the clarity. You get the clarity through strengthening your connection to your inner compass. And the best way to do that is through play, because the play is stimulating that energy that you need to put you into the higher vibration. I'm not saying that these are the moments you're going to get clarity, but you'll be surprised. Like when I went away to the homestay, only tourist, I go out, I was looking, I do my thing, I've got that energy. I'm just like in it, stimulated, get back to the guest house. Boom, all these words come through. Oh, I could do this. And it just spits out. It will work for everyone differently, but if you even go in with the intention and almost just leave it open, because this is the other thing, you can't force clarity. You just need to put yourself in the energy to receive it. An energy where your awareness is heightened, your connection to yourself is heightened, your connection to nature is heightened. Nature is a good one. And just open it up and have fun, because we've just lost our ability to play. And it's actually quite sad when you think about it. And I try and incorporate more of this into my day now, but boy, was that a struggle because of the guilt of like, yeah, but that's not productive. But you're not going to create in here in logic. You're going to create from here, and then that is going to help you to get it out. And this is the thing, sitting in front of a laptop, I don't create, I act on creations. I go out to nature to receive the creation. I know when I've got it because I'm like, oh, got it. And then I come back and I act on it. This is the incorporation. If you can do anything, find your activities, find what they are. So I've said mine's travel, but also it can be super, super simple things. Dance. For me, nature is like literally immediately. Even if I need to write something, I'll go to a cafe where I am in nature. I know this now. I know where I get stimulated and when I don't. And it's any moment that you feel that flow or joy or calm or peace. Could be music. Music is a great one to stimulate these states. That's also a thing that I do is when I'm trying to create, I put on creative state alpha wave music. Doing something new, try something new, just something that's absolutely going to get you into that flow and joy, and incorporate more of it. Be in this energy more. Set the intention. I'm wanting to connect more into my inner play, my creative genius, and just see what comes. You can also do journeys. So breathwork journeys, meditation journeys, energy healing journeys, all of these journeys as well. Again, you can't force the clarity, but these are the same type of energy. They're taking you out of here and putting you in here, and that's what you need. And that's really it. That's the intention, is have more of that energy and then open to receive. Because the more you force the answer, the less it is going to come. And I've even found this with going into breath work and I want a really specific answer. The more I push, the less journey I have. Like the ones where I've gone, oh, we'll just see. I've had incredible journeys because I've opened myself rather than I need to know this. I need to know exactly how I need to do this step, this step, this step. You're not going to get that. Your mind can do that later. When you're creating your vision and your alignment, you need to connect into you. And play will do that quicker than anything else. So if you are into journeys, then I've got the career clarity map, which has a hypnotherapy journey in the beginning of it. And then it takes you into a reflection around specific elements of career. And it's designed that way because this tape will stimulate you into the space that I'm talking about. This is the space of intuition and clarity that we need to regularly visit, put in our routine, make it a priority to have this energy in our life and set the intention to be open to receive. So cut the analysis paralysis, cut looking at different paths, researching degrees, like all of this stuff, because it's leading you up a path that your mind already thinks it knows, but that is not coming from here. That comes later. Once you've understood, okay, I think it's this way, or this is my next step, then you bring in this one because this is a great tool, but it should not be leading where we're going. So I hope that is helpful. I'm going to leave the link to the journey below and have fun. We weren't here to make everything super serious. And even when we're thinking of serving and serving into humanity, we need lightness and joy. We need play. We need to bring this back out.